What if I told you the key to better erections, higher energy, and even a longer life wasn't a pill? It's not testosterone therapy. It's not even exercise. It's food. Yes, what you put on your plate could be the one thing either restoring blood flow to your penis or slowly shutting your body down from the inside. I'm Dr. Blake Morgan. After 35 years as a board-certified urologist, I've learned something the medical industry avoids talking about. Circulation is everything, especially down there. The truth? More than 70% of men over 60 suffer from poor penile circulation, not because of just aging, but because their diets are silently killing their blood vessels. Today, I'm going to show you the top 5 foods that have been scientifically proven to boost blood flow, enhance erections, and even reverse aging markers in men over 60. And trust me, number 3 will shock you. Quick question before we dive in. Do you eat beets at least once a week? Type yes in the comments if you do, and no if you don't, because what they actually do down there will surprise you. White heavy checkmark food number 1. Beets, nature's nitric oxide bomb. Beets don't just help with blood pressure. They actually open up your arteries down there and boost nitric oxide faster than some medications. In fact, one study called them natural Viagra. Here's what blew my mind. In a 2015 study published in Hypertension, men who drank beetroot juice had significantly lower blood pressure just 2.5 hours later. But more importantly, another study in the American Journal of Physiology found that older men who consumed dietary nitrates from beets saw a 26% increase in blood flow to working muscles, including pelvic arteries. And the crazy part? It worked even in men with endothelial dysfunction. That's the condition that causes erectile dysfunction in the first place. Jim, 67, came to me frustrated. He'd been taking ED pills for years. They weren't working anymore. I asked him to start drinking half a cup of beet juice every morning, with a pinch of black pepper to boost absorption. 3 weeks later, he called me, voice shaking. Doc, my morning wood is back, and I didn't take anything. But that wasn't even the best part. His blood pressure dropped 12 points. He'd scheduled a follow-up with his cardiologist to reduce his meds. Here's exactly what to do. Drink 1/2 to 1 cup of beetroot juice daily, add a dash of black pepper or citrus to boost nitric oxide release. Don't boil the beets, steam, or juice them. Most men ruin this by mixing beets with sugar or buying pre-sweetened juice. Don't. Keep it simple. Within 10 days, most men report better morning erections and more energy. But beets are just the beginning. What truly surprised me, what made me pause and rethink how we treat aging circulation, was something much more common. Something sitting in almost every kitchen pantry, often overlooked, and sometimes even thrown away. Pomegranate. I still remember when I came across the research. It wasn't in some flashy magazine or supplement ad. It was buried in a dense medical journal from UCLA. What they discovered changed the way I talk to every man over 60 who walks into my office. Here's what happened. They had a group of older men, ages ranging from 50 to 75, drink a small amount of pomegranate juice daily. Just a few ounces. That's it. After just a few weeks, not only did their blood pressure drop, but their carotid artery thickness decreased by up to 30%. That's the actual wall of the artery reducing in plaque buildup. Think about that. No drug in the world has shown consistent results like that in such a short time, especially with such a small intervention. But what really caught my attention was this. Men who continued drinking it for a year experienced significantly improved erectile function, even those who previously failed to respond to medication. That was the moment I started recommending pomegranate juice to almost every man over 60 who walked into my office with circulation issues. One of those men was Larry. He was 72 when he came to see me. Former Marine. Still strong, still proud, but quietly battling something he wouldn't admit out loud at first. He hadn't had a real erection in nearly 2 years. Pills didn't work. He said they gave him headaches and made his face flush so bad it scared his wife. I asked him one question. Do you like pomegranate juice? He laughed. Not particularly. Well, I said, you're going to. I put him on 4 ounces per day. No sugar, no blends, just 100% pure pomegranate juice. He started drinking it with breakfast. Every day. For 2 weeks, nothing changed. Then on the 15th day, his wife called my office. Not Larry. His wife. Dr. Morgan, she said, I don't know what you gave him, but we haven't laughed like this in years. Larry told me later that he woke up one morning with something he hadn't felt in years. And it stayed. It wasn't like the pill-induced kind either. He said it felt natural. Like I was 40 again. I didn't even think it was possible. Here's the key with pomegranate: consistency. It's not a magic potion, but when you take it daily, it works deep within your endothelium, the delicate lining of your blood vessels, and it repairs damage most men don't even know they have. If you're thinking of trying it, make sure it's unsweetened, pure juice, and ideally drink it on an empty stomach. 4 ounces. That's all it takes. And remember, this isn't just about what happens in the bedroom. Improved blood flow down there means better circulation to your brain, your heart, your legs, everything. But here's where it gets really interesting. The next food doesn't come in a bottle. It's not exotic. It doesn't taste sweet. In fact, some men avoid it because of how it smells. But if you want to increase blood flow and protect your arteries from the inside out, especially as you age, this is one food you cannot afford to skip. And it works faster than most medications I've seen. The third food is garlic. Not capsules, not powders. Real, fresh garlic, the kind that leaves your fingers smelling for hours after you chop it. The kind your grandmother used in everything, whether it needed it or not. Most men don't realize this, but garlic is one of the most powerful natural vasodilators on the planet. That means it helps your blood vessels relax, expand, and carry more blood. And when your arteries are healthy and open, everything downstream gets more circulation, including the most sensitive parts of your body. But here's what's wild. Back in 1999, a study out of Germany showed that garlic not only reduced blood pressure in older adults, it actually helped reverse early signs of atherosclerosis, that's hardening of the arteries. In fact, after just a few weeks of eating garlic daily, their arterial plaque was literally shrinking. Now imagine what that means for the tiny blood vessels responsible for your erection. Those capillaries? They're even more sensitive to restriction than the ones around your heart, which is why erectile problems are often the first red flag for heart disease. Fix the flow down there, and you're fixing your entire system. One patient stands out in my memory. George, 64, came to me right after retiring. He was overweight, borderline diabetic, had ED, and his energy levels were in the gutter. He told me he felt numb from the waist down. His words, not mine. His doctor had put him on blood pressure meds that were actually making the problem worse. I asked him about his diet. Mostly processed food, very little spice, and definitely no garlic. He said he hated the smell. I challenged him. I said, "Give me 3 weeks. I want you to chop up 2 cloves of raw garlic every night. Mix it into olive oil, let it sit for 15 minutes, then spread it over a piece of toast or vegetables. Do not cook it. Just eat it." He cringed, but he agreed. The first few days, he complained to my assistant about the taste. On day 5, he said something felt a little different. By day 12, he told me he was waking up with a sensation he hadn't felt in over a year. By day 21, he looked like a different man. He lost 6 pounds. His face looked less puffy. And more importantly, his morning erections were back and stronger than before. He told me, "Doc, I never thought something so simple, so gross, could do something this powerful. But the key with garlic isn't just eating it, it's how you eat it. You have to crush it and let it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes. That activates a compound called allicin. That's the real circulatory powerhouse. If you cook it right away, you kill the allicin. But if you crush and rest it first, then eat it raw or gently mix it in after cooking, you keep all the benefits. And here's the other trick: pair garlic with healthy fats like olive oil. That helps the active compounds absorb better and travel through your body more effectively. So yes, garlic stinks. Yes, it lingers. But it's one of the best things you can put into your body if you want to feel stronger, perform better, and live longer. Still, the next food. It's something even more shocking. Because it's the kind of food most doctors used to tell you to avoid. Too high in fat. Too rich. Too heavy. But now, we're learning it could be a secret weapon for men over 60, especially those who want better performance and longevity. The fourth food is avocado. Yes, the same creamy fruit that was once demonized for being too fatty. Decades ago, men were told to avoid avocados because of their fat content. The old school thinking was, fat clogs your arteries. But now, we know that was a massive mistake. Because the kind of fat in avocados, monounsaturated fat, doesn't clog your arteries at all. In fact, it helps clear them out. More than that, it helps rebuild the very hormones that start fading after 60. Especially testosterone. I'll never forget a patient of mine named Carl. He was 61, had been on statins for 10 years. His cholesterol numbers were good on paper, but he felt terrible. He was constantly tired. He had zero libido. and he said he hadn't had a full erection in at least 6 months. He told me he was eating healthy. Oatmeal in the morning, turkey sandwiches on wheat, low-fat everything, and he hadn't touched an avocado in years. I said, Carl, your body is starving for healthy fat. You're trying to build testosterone with dry toast and turkey slices. That's like trying to build a house out of paper. So I put him on what I call the fat-forward breakfast. Have an avocado every morning, drizzle of olive oil, sea salt, black pepper, a few cherry tomatoes on the side. Nothing fancy. Within 10 days, he came back and told me he was feeling something he hadn't in a long time. Not just sexually, but mentally. His focus was sharper. His mood was lighter. And yes, he started waking up with stronger erections. What happened? Avocados are rich in potassium, which helps regulate blood pressure and reduce arterial tension that's critical for smooth blood flow. They're also loaded with vitamin E, which keeps your blood vessels flexible. But most importantly, that monounsaturated fat? It helps your body convert cholesterol into testosterone. That's right, your body needs healthy cholesterol as raw material for making hormones. No fat means no testosterone. And without testosterone, blood flow alone won't do much. Here's the best way to use avocado if you're over 60. First, have it early in the day, ideally with breakfast. That's when your hormones are most active. Second, pair it with a protein and a little spice, like scrambled eggs with cayenne and sliced avocado. The spice boosts circulation, the fat boosts hormones, and the combo gives you a steady energy curve all day. Most men screw this up by mixing avocado into sugary smoothies or overloading it with bacon and cheese. Keep it simple. Think Mediterranean, clean, real, uncluttered food. Now, as powerful as avocado is, it doesn't hold a candle to this last food. Because this next one? It's not just about blood flow. It's about protecting the lining of your blood vessels from the inside out down to the microscopic level. And the most shocking part? It's probably already in your freezer. But almost nobody is eating it the right way. The last one is blueberries. That's right. Tiny, ordinary-looking blueberries. But don't let their size fool you. These little guys are one of the most powerful circulation-boosting, artery-protecting foods on the planet, especially for men over 60. I call them nature's vascular repair kit. You see, as we age, the delicate inner lining of our blood vessels, called the endothelium, starts to break down. That's what leads to stiffness, poor circulation, and eventually the symptoms you're probably already familiar with: weak erections, cold feet, foggy memory, and slower recovery after activity. Blueberries target that lining directly. They don't just help blood flow, they help your arteries heal. One study out of King's College London tracked older adults who consumed a small bowl of blueberries every day for 3 months. The results were astonishing. Their artery function improved by over 20%. Not from medication, not from exercise, just from eating berries. And it wasn't just lab numbers. Participants reported more energy, better mental clarity, and yes, improved sexual function. Even more compelling was a study from Harvard that followed over 25,000 men for 2 decades. They found that men who regularly ate blueberries had a 14% lower risk of erectile dysfunction. Why? Because the antioxidants in blueberries, especially anthocyanins, directly protect the blood vessels that carry blood to the penis. Let me tell you about Richard. He was 68 when we first met. Very active, still hiking every weekend. But he told me his drive had started fading. Not just in the bedroom in general. He felt like something inside him had dulled. His labs were okay. No red flags. Just borderline blood sugar and mild inflammation. We looked at his diet. Pretty clean. But one thing was missing: fruit. Specifically, berries. He said they felt too sugary and avoided them for years. I explained the science to him, how blueberries don't spike your blood sugar like most fruit, how their compounds actually reduce inflammation and help rebuild the vascular lining from within. So he agreed. Every morning, half a cup of frozen blueberries straight into his breakfast routine. Sometimes blended into yogurt. Sometimes just thawed and eaten plain. And here's what shocked him. Within 2 weeks, his brain fog lifted. His energy came back. And within a month, he said the intimacy with his wife had come back to life. His words, not mine. But here's the best part. When he went for his 6-month checkup, his inflammatory markers were lower, his blood pressure had normalized, and his testosterone was up. Nothing else in his life had changed, just the blueberries. Here's how you should use them. Go for wild blueberries if you can. They have higher antioxidant content. Frozen is totally fine. Just don't add sugar. You don't need it. Half a cup per day is enough. Mix them into oatmeal, yogurt, or eat them on their own. And make sure to chew them well. The skin contains powerful compounds that release when broken down. Now, you've heard about beets, pomegranate, garlic, avocado, and blueberries. Individually, each one of these foods supports blood flow, energy, and performance in its own way. But together, that's where the magic happens. Because when you combine all five, when you bring in the nitric oxide from beets, the antioxidant power of blueberries, the endothelial support from pomegranate, the testosterone fuel from avocado, and the artery-clearing strength of garlic, you create something much bigger than the sum of its parts. I've had patients follow this exact protocol for 30 days. Nothing extreme, just adding one of these foods into each meal, and they come back looking 5 years younger. Their skin glows. Their eyes brighten. Their voices have energy again. And what they say privately, "Doc, I feel like a man again." But here's the exciting part. We're just getting started. Because there's an entire second layer to this that most men don't know about. The timing, combinations, and simple daily rituals that multiply the effects of these foods by 3x or more. That's what I'm going to show you in my next video. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Because you won't want to miss what happens when you start combining these foods in a very specific way, especially in the first hour of your morning. Until then, stay sharp, stay strong, and take care of the engine that drives it all, your circulation. You only get one body. Feed it like it matters.